Welcome back, America. We're here with our friend Ted Cruz. Senator Cruz, obviously the state of Texas, like Arizona, New Mexico, a couple others, are really badly affected by Joe Biden's no border policy. You've got slavery, sex slavery, child slavery, indentured service. I mean, real world, modern time slavery taking place in the United States and America that we haven't seen since the end of the Civil War. And we have a president of the United States who goes to a Potemkin village visit, and that's it. You have a vice president of the United States who's in charge of it. She could give a damn. What do you make of this? Because it's obviously intentional.
Mark, you're absolutely right. It is a catastrophe on every level. It is a humanitarian disaster. It is a public health disaster. It is a public safety disaster. It's a national security disaster. And you're also right that this is deliberate. This is not caused by the fact that Joe Biden is incompetent, that Alejandro Mayorkas is negligent. This is the deliberate outcome they want. When Joe Biden became president, he inherited the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. And he deliberately broke the system. He opened the border, and the numbers immediately shot up. 9.6 million illegal immigrants have crossed into this country illegally. And you use the word slavery. You're exactly right. That's what it is. You may recall the last time Alejandro Mayorkas testified in front of the Judiciary Committee, where I put up a poster board with a picture of colored wristbands. And I asked him a question. I said, Mr. Secretary, what are these colored wristbands? And you and I are both lawyers. As lawyers, we never ask a question we don't know the answer to. I'll tell you, Mayorkas's answer blew me away. He said, I have no idea what those wristbands are. I've never seen them before. And with complete shock, I said to him, Mr. Secretary, you have just told the American people you are utterly incompetent at your job, and you don't give a damn enough to even pretend. Why? Because just about every illegal alien that crosses this country is wearing one of these colored wristbands. They're color-coded for how many thousands of dollars they owe the cartels. If you stand on the banks of the Rio Grande River, you see hundreds of those wristbands laying in the grass. And what happens, they turn themselves into the Border Patrol, and Joe Biden sends them to every city in America. And the teenage boys, when they get there, they're working for the cartels. They're committing crimes. They're robbing cars. They're robbing houses. They're mugging people because they have to pay back the money. And even worse, Mark, the teenage girls, thousands upon thousands of them get trapped in sex slavery where they have to pay off the cartels, and they can be trapped for years in forced prostitution. These colored wristbands are quite literally modern-day leg irons. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Washington Democrats, they do not care, and they want this to continue.
It is so abhorrent to me what the Democrat Party was and is. And they like to lecture us about civil rights, and they like to lecture us about we conservatives need to be more moderate, and they go on and on and on about this stuff, and yet they continually create these disasters. And this going on the southern border, inhumanity on both sides of the border. In the United States, fentanyl, my buddy Rick Harrison's son just passed away, Adam, from an overdose of fentanyl. It's happening all over the country. You even have Democrat mayors complaining about what's going on, but they attack Greg Abbott. They don't attack, of course, Joe Biden. But my question to you is this. You came out with other constitutional conservative senators. You and they are very angry about the Republican leadership in the Senate. You're very angry about the deal that they're trying to cut with Schumer. They've cut out the Speaker of the House and the Republican leaders in the House. What the hell is going on with them?
Look, this is a lousy deal. It's a deal that was negotiated with Chuck Schumer, and it's designed not to secure the border. In my view, we ought to use the leverage we have to try to force this administration to follow the law. But Schumer and the Democrats don't want to do it. And unfortunately, Republican leadership, they're like Charlie Brown with Lucy and the football, although this time it's Lucy Schumer. And every time they run to kick it and Lucy Schumer pulls the ball away. And Republican leadership never seems to learn. You look at this bill. We actually don't know what's in the bill because they won't show us statutory text, which tells you how bad it is. But we do know the bullet points they put out. On the bullet points, they essentially normalize 5,000 illegal immigrants a day. 5,000 a day, that works out to over 1.8 million illegal immigrants a year. That is ridiculous. And yet that's where Republican leadership is. I think we should use our leverage to say, fix the problem now.
I'm constantly perplexed by the Republicans in the Senate. I'm constantly perplexed. You look at the House, we have the opposite. We have constant upheaval.
Yep. And
constant removal of the leadership. You look in the Senate, you haven't had a new leader in 15, 16 years. McConnell is the longest serving leader of either party.
Yep.
He has no ability to communicate to the American people. He doesn't care that he has no ability to communicate to the American people. He controls the levers of power within the Senate. He controls the fundraising, so he tries to pick off certain people in primaries and support other people, so he has people elected who are supportive of him. This is like the old smoke-filled back rooms of the past. This is not transparency. And Republicans and conservatives and the nation suffer as a result of this, no?
Look, you're exactly right. I think it is time for Mitch McConnell to go. I helped lead the fight to try to defeat Mitch McConnell. We ended up, when I made a motion to delay leadership elections so we could debate the direction of the conference, I got 16 votes. I needed 25, so I was 9 votes short. So that's encouraging. Those are the first 16 votes that have been cast against Mitch, but he still has control on the conference. And you're right, one of the ways he holds on to control is with money. If you oppose him, he zeroes you out. So my last re-election 6 years ago was, at the time, it was the most expensive Senate race in U.S. history. I was outspent 3-1, and I ended up winning by less than 3 points. Mitch McConnell spent $300 million nationwide in Senate races. You know how much he spent in Texas? 0. Not 1 penny. I'm right now, as you know, in a very tough re-election race in Texas. The Democrats, Chuck Schumer has made clear I'm his #1 target. The Democrats intend to spend over $100 million to defeat me in Texas. We just had a poll last week that showed it as a 1-point race, and yet we can expect Mitch again not to spend any money to defend me, which means the only way that we hold on is if the folks watching this show go to tedcruz.org right now, go online to tedcruz.org, make a contribution of $5, $10, $25, $50, $100, because my race, my support is not from the big money special interests in Washington, D.C. It is from constitutional conservatives across the country who go to tedcruz.org and who help give me the resources to withstand $100 million from these left-wing Democrats and Marxists who are trying to invade this country and destroy this country.